afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back after an exciting holiday. Well, considerably less exciting for you, since of course you had to do only one every second day. But nonetheless, the propaganda ministry is back, reporting here from Festung Europa. A 1 vs 1 on Ruins and Ruin again. Yes, I know. So you might not have wanted something a bit different, but sadly I'm a bit tired. This was one of the sort of shorter good ones I could find, so that is what I went for, since apparently, despite having otherwise enjoyed myself at home, I've been sleeping considerably less well. So I'm a bit exhausted at the moment. So I went for this one, since I figured it would still be entertaining, but also considerably less taxing. So we shall be watching Fractional fighting for the United States, fighting for the 20th Infantry Division in a fight against Darealslimshady, fighting for the 111th Panzer Brigade. And a glorious fight amidst the ruins of Ruin. Dun dun dun. As the map is known, although we shall imagine it's somewhere near the German-French border. Got a few nice books on World War II, one on basically orders of battle for a lot of divisions, quite fascinating stuff, even with a bit of details of what they fought in some cases, and also a book on infantry tactics of World War II, largely describing American, British and German, although also some slight mention of Russian ones, though mainly urban warfare tactics, how they dealt with fortified structures. And we are seeing a one right American rifleman start there with 2 engineers from Fractional and a 2 pioneers start out for the Darealslimshady. So in that sense, rather conservative plays by either players. We are not seeing some sort of highly artistic 3, 4 or 5 pioneer or engineer start from either player. But the bread and butter of startups, the 2 pioneer engineer and then some rifle chaps out. Volkswagen and a rifleman fighting up here on either side of a car, engaging, firing. Will the Volkswagen have gotten the initial good shots in, or were the Americans able to close much faster? And there we go, 1 man down, there we go, engineers pushing it, and immediately the Darealslimshady realizes this is not a fight I can win. Rückzug, Männer! And of course he retreats instead of otherwise wasting troops in a fight he knows he's not going to be able to win or even do considerably decent damage in. And thus again saves men, and overall manpower of course also ensures that he can sort of better on choose a fight. So nicely handled right there initially by Darealslimshady. And one really important factor is, you know, being able to figure out when to fight and when to get the bloody hell out of there. And certainly one of the things more novice players can have a bit of trouble with, and basically also retreating in some cases apparently. Rifle moving up there, opening up from several sides. In this case now the Volkswagens are coming under fire, getting flanked, crossfire, everything there we go again, retreating. We are seeing another squad moving in fact the first one, and we're seeing a sniper out. So in this case it is slightly moving into the somewhat irregular territory of play. 1 sniper. Not something you see very often. Note here, the Volkswagens are not moving on much. They are waiting for comrades. They are waiting for support. Numbers. Gewehren. Pioneers are doing a bit of work, but they are pushed away from the rifle and securing the control tower. And a bit distressed, there will be no deliveries of fast food in the time near that airport.
We are losing ground.
And a bit of fighting right here down south. And there we go, pushing in. Sniper Koenig out. Probably a reference to Major Koenig from Enemy at the Gates, although he is speculated to actually be just pretty much fictional. Just like a lot of other things the Soviets had a tendency of reporting. I mean, the Soviet sort of system was known as socialist realism, which basically meant they did not report what actually happened, they reported the way they thought it ought to have happened. Which rather means that when you're dealing with Soviet sources, you have to take it with a bit of salt. Mildly put. I mean, then you know the whole Kursk, yes, we knocked out 1,000 panzers, we crushed the SS Panzer Division, and then the reality was, yes, they gave the Germans a bit of a bloody nose, but overall they didn't lose near as many as tanks, because they didn't even have that many tanks on the Eastern Front, even the nearby. Or something like that, I can't remember the full details, definitely not that amount of tanks nearby. And actually the SS divisions were actually ground up later on in a much more considerably actually damn fight, which is probably the more ironic part of it. And the larger problem with Kursk was they didn't actually push on after they actually made some progress, in which case they allowed the rest of the Soviet armored forces to get away rather than crushing them. We are seeing another engagement here. Volksgun is pulling up behind some cover, some trucks, riflemen hanging about in the ruins, and Alfred right there, shot in the back, a bit depressed about the matter, and if only he hadn't been shot in the back and paralyzed, he could have written a poem about it. We are seeing more Volksguns out. We're seeing sniper. We're seeing 3 Volksguns and a sniper out. A pretty aggressive sort of build. It's very sort of mobile as well. There's not much that can actually lock down things, which could also be considered the weakness of this. I mean, it's not something, you know, if the Americans sort of really push in with a hard assault, there's not much you can do about it. And you can actually risk losing the sniper. So in that sense, there's some certain weaknesses. It's clearly he's also hoping to sort of push his opponents in a certain direction. We are seeing skirmish phase on the way. We're also seeing a motorpool going up for Fractional. And overall, Fractional has been enjoying a map control advantage. He's been able to sort of keep the pressure up on Slimshady on several points. Lots of harassment, lots of losses. And of course, that's also the slight problem, you know, going sniper second. I mean, any sort of additional units will be greatly delayed. A sniper takes time to train, plus he is expensive. Which basically meant that initially he only had 2 Volksguns to do all the fighting, which again is a bit tricky. It's not impossible, but generally I would prefer throwing at least in something extra, like say a bike or a Schwimmwagen, to sort of add a bit of more additional firepower and mobility. We do see the medic bunker up, and we do see a lot more riflemen going down as bullets pierce their helmets. Small engagement out here in the center. Volksguns riflemen fighting. Not a lot of work. We do see minesweepers out, but we're not seeing any mines so far by the looks of it from Fractional. He's not going to make it harder for the Krauts to advance into his territory, which could end up biting him in the arse, since again eventually a German player will of course counterattack, and of course if you're not doing much to stop him, of course you might actually get rather badly hurt, army wise and psychologically. We got another small engagement. Rifleman getting caught right here. Volksgun squad's not moving in. He could also do the Kampfkraft Center, provide some first aid to the Volksgrenadiers. Krieg barracks is going up. Riflemen here coming under engagement. Outnumbered considerably. And they are in fact pulling back slowly and fully retreating now. Center held. He could consider some barbed wire again to sort of make movement for his opponent difficult, just like he did here, to sort of ensure no one could perhaps sneak in and hit his troops on the retreat, or say a sniper on the retreat. And then we go, actually mine went off, killing Heinz and Fritz. Not quite more. No further mining though. Oh wait, there we go. Good, he has been mining a bit. There we go. But again, you should always try and mining, particularly as the Americans, you know, aggressive mining tends to pay off, you know, right here close to the enemy space, where he tends to not expect it, which means it tends to be the most surprising and the most nasty kinds of mines. There's certainly also mining in case you're sort of expecting to actually get pushed back, might also be an idea to that way catch the opponent off guard. No minesweepers out for the Darealslimshady so far, so he's clearly not expecting Fractional to get any mines, in which case again, mines would be really a good choice by Fractional. Mines win games, they win wars. Well, not wars, but they certainly help win wars. Greyhound patrolling. Anti-tank an die Panzerabwehrkanone 38. Stokely pushed forward by its crew, and apparently someone had a bit too much sugar since he's running all over the place. Ah, stop doing that, Fritz. But I'm so energetic. And apparently you're also rather much of an altar boy. How did you guess? Yes. Armored car though patrolling it, and we are seeing some heavier infantry out from Grenadiers, and in this case actually he's now gained infantry parity, or at least squad parity with his opponent, which is certainly going to mean he's Fractional is going to need something extra to sort of gain the infantry advantage. In particular, if he keeps the Volksguns close, and of course there's still Semitic bunker. The Sanitätsbunker. Volksguns here though definitely need them first aid, or they will basically just be handing over veterancy to Fractional. Armor car so far not doing much, mostly just harassment. We have some Grenadiers for the Puncher's Hex. Rather than engaging them, points being secured here. Sniper moving up, home to get some Americans. And doing so quite nicely. Armor coming up there, forcing away the grenadiers wonderfully. They should be careful. Ooh, attack not quite pointing in the right direction. And too late it moves. The Greyhound escapes. Without knowing what it was actually escaping. Hey Hank, I had a feeling we might have been close to dying. You always have that. It's called beans. Anyways. For dinner. Anyways. Raven here getting some really nice harassment here, but of course he has to be careful he doesn't, you know, force his men rather low on health to run through a gauntlet of German superior firepower. Raven here definitely not doing too well. Fultzker's holding up the veterans who want, so finally getting some infantry veterans here. Coming on the father, the rifle right here could try and push in. We also see BARs going in. That is definitely going to help. Less Fractional is going to give him some advantage again versus the infantry, versus the Fultzkers definitely. Armor coming about. Pack. Oh, he calls in artillery. Going in to knock out the anti-tank, and Slim Shady's not aware. Oh no. First shot kills apparently the guy on a sugar rush, and apparently the rest of the crew escapes, also considerably eased by the fact that they don't have to bother with that annoying guy. And that was incredibly close for the real Slim Shady right there. Fractional pushing on though. Fultzker's pushed back, but there's still the sniper with 21 kills. Fultzker's holding the center desperately. Grenadiers holding the right flank. Armored car. Not quite sure what he wants to achieve. 3 kills so far. Pack still not really hitting anything. And Riflemen taking losses as they run. Nice harassment by the armor. Can't just keep behind buildings. Does his best to sort of avoid possible lanes of fire from anti-tank guns. Nicely done right there by Fractional. Lovely handling of it. Lovely sort of, you know, urban tactics. Engineers moving up. Staying close to the armor car just in case damage happens. Fox holding there. Pioneers going there. And a push up the center. Medication, of course, could be something Fractional could consider in the longer run. If he was so interested. Raven are coming under considerable fire. Pioneers pushed off. Down to poor old Richard. Pushed away, or Rickard. Pioneers moving in. Apparently not quite heeding the advisor of their comrades. Fultzker's holding up nicely in the center. Of course, grenades could be an additional extra bonus for Fractional right here. But nonetheless doing quite damage. Oh, Fultzker's getting absolutely gutted. They do not quite have the amount of firepower to match the rifle with the Browning automatics. Armor car takes a nice hit there. Rifleman also very close to going down, and Fultzker's squad went down. A loss for the Fatherland for the 111th Panzerbrigade, which was considerably less well equipped than the first series, with less Panthers, more Panzerforce and Sturmgeschütz. And a bit of sniper fire going up here again. Really aggressive, but in this case a bit too aggressive. Lost a part engineer squad, but looks like we are rather heavy attrition there. And 28 kills for that sniper. Rather than pushing in, holding the flanks, and artillery going in on the bunker. Oh, the sniper's awfully close. Oh, Fultz is also forced to retreat right through the artillery. And of course, one of the reasons, you know, Fractional does have such depleted squads, of course, is also the map control he has. I mean, he has to fight to keep it. He has to really, you know, fight hard to ensure he can keep it. Otherwise, I mean, if he didn't want to suffer such a loss, he could certainly take up a much more defensive stance. And of course, that is one of the things you always have to trade manpower for territory in some way, unless your opponent is being really passive or nervous. And certainly the snipers are not helping the two-sniper thing. Again, though, we will probably not be seeing snipers like this in Coming Heroes 2 that can walk out in the open, completely invisible, like a pair of incredibly effective stage magicians. Oh, and the armor car goes under control and crashes into an incredibly small building. Where the hell did that huge thing come from? I never quite understood that.
Artillery support is now available.
Rifleman pulling up there. Rifleman squads were equipped with 2 BARs, but they were also considerably larger, 12 man. So something to consider there. The mine goes off. Several folks goes down. Sniper's a bit more exposed.
Germans are seizing territory from us.
Of course, question becomes, what will Fractional do? He could be considering getting a howitzer to deliver heavy artillery against the German lines, which would be devastating if in particular if it hit the snipers. Of course, will be roaming in pairs or larger swarms or hordes or packs. I'm not entirely sure how you sort of describe that. Sniper fire misses, almost close to hitting Heinz, in fact, with some other poor foot's grenadier. Very little that Fractional has left, and there we go. Howitzer going up. 105mm howitzer, which has also been seen for the Germans, although of course not the same one, but basically the German variant, in a video clip, so we might be expecting that one, some actual German artillery. Should be fun in coming here too. And of course, be sure to check out CommunityShoot.org, where they will be later on showing off the Sunday Night Fight 4th qualified tournament, which I had thought about joining, but sadly it did not really fit in with the holiday schedule and when I actually got back, so no luck there. There we go, the first barrage gloriously fires into the center and pretty much misses everything. That's good. Well, I'm sure the Germans are enjoying the fireworks. And the sniper team is moving up here, whoops, supporting the grenadiers, doing considerable damage to the Americans. Quiet. Bit of searchlights going out. And lighter engagement out here, forcing away the pioneers, while the Germans look like to be making a greater effort in the west. So far, though, does not look like any squads have been reformed from the medic bunker, which is definitely to the advantage of Fractional. Again, he would also benefit from a medic station. Although, again, he does have the howitzer. He just needs to get off some hits with it. And another engineer squad goes down. A nice roaming right there, but the snipers 32 kills on one. He's definitely earned himself in 8 on the others. Not quite there. Volkswagen's getting rushed here by Rifleman. BR's pouring in, gunning down, and grenade from a grenadier squad. Looks like one was actually formed right there. And they are pushed away. The Riflemen continue undaunted. And looks like the sniper might be moving in to try and get off some more kills. And there we go. Again, the lack of mines looks to be hurting Fractional again. Even one of them could perhaps have gotten one of the snipers, which again would have been considered to his advantage. Artillery again. First question is, where would be heading? Fulks is pushed away there. Into the base. Indeed, he was hoping perhaps to get the snipers on retreat or something else. And that again is also why you don't place everything right there, but actually at the edges of the base we have a sort of decent chance of reinforcing somewhere safer. Medics going down. And the pioneers are suffering a rather unlovely fate. Engagement right here, Veteran 2 for the German infantry. Doesn't really do much for the Volksgrenadiers. A bit, but nothing that's really going to help in a greater fight. The Grenadiers tend to benefit most from Veteran 2. And of course the snipers adding in there. No Veteran 2 for them though. Rather than fighting here. Pioneers moving in, and another armored car is actually out for Fractional now. Deciding to give it another go. Could work, could work. Grenadiers a bit under fire. There we go, the 50 caliber gets added. The 50 caliber was actually originally intended for tank destruction duties, rather interestingly enough. And artillery going in there. Very close to getting one of the snipers. Actually, direct hit on the anti-tank gun, killing the crew and the anti-tank. And what hit that is quite nice. Fractional means he actually killed something now with
The
it.
infantry reserves are now available. We have a threat to our victory.
Armor Car running into problems with dual Panzer Grenadiers. Of the later variant, the initial one had none of that shield, which actually meant that there was also some change in munitions, but actually meant that if they didn't have a gas mask on, they'd get rather caught in some nasty fumes, which were less than good for your health. So they actually had to wear gas masks with the initial type of Panzerschreck. Of course, based on the German bazooka, which the American bazooka, not the German one, daft bastard,
Losing ground.
but the American one, which they pretty much gained from the Soviets, which actually did receive some on Lend-Lease bases. And of course the Soviets lost quite a few of them. Veteran T2 Rifle versus Veteran 2 Grenadiers, and of course here the problem is, of course, when you dual equip your troops with Panzerschrecks, they're not very good with infantry, or against infantry. So of course that is something always to remember when you dual equip your troops with Panzerschrecks. They're not going to be that damn awesome against infantry. Rather than pushing into the center, Volkswagen is desperately holding the line. Also getting overrun here. Some Grenadiers though without Panzerschrecks. You could consider an LMG. If the Darealslimshady would please sort that out. Or if you so intended. And another Volkswagen squad goes down. The Darealslimshady suffering a bit in the infantry department. Of course he does have the medic bunker to minimize losses. And a pack could also be lost to Americans. And artillery going in as well. Could be firing straight into the base. Snipers. Ooh, and artillery going in. Lots on the bunker. Perhaps hoping to knock it out. End it. And deny recovery of the wounded to the Darealslimshady. And indeed he does. The Panzer Brigade there is in a bit of trouble. Grenadier Squad number 3 ready. And my Panzer Command going up for the Germans as well. So replacing every squad lost with Grenadiers, that is good. Armor Car needs to be careful, it's a Panzerschrecks are near. They sind here. Still no attempt at really oh wait, never mind. Mine there. Wunderbar. Again, perhaps you careful, mine. There we go, Grenadiers hit them, tumbling down telephone poles and whatnot. Fractional holding most of the map, despite an increased presence of hardened Grenadiers. On the other hand, Fractional is quite vulnerable to armor. Clearly, the Darealslimshady's seen this. He has divined it through the fact that so far he's only seen armored cars and BARs. Not a single anti-tank gun or anything like that, of course, which means a Panzer IV is going to do one hell of a nice damn job. We are though seeing a tank depot going up for Fractional, of course, hoping to push his own advantage, which is anything not bad. Another Opel Blitz goes up in flames. A tragic waste of a good truck. Or at least an iconic truck. The tank depot being worked on. No doctrine for the Darealslimshady. That is considerably shady. Another medic bunker up. Not always you see that. Usually players tend to go, well, never mind, then I'll just get a repair bunker now that I've gone for a Panzer Command. But the Darealslimshady sticks to the true course. Medics, Sanitäter. Definitely also good to see some dedication. And the refusal to just give up just because he lost one of it. Nice, I mean, we do see considerable attempt, but again, in this case, Fractional does make the mistake of sending in some rather low health units, low numbered, in behind enemy lines. Could in fact lose Veteran 2 Rifle squad, but see, oh, mine got him! Forrest Gump hit a mine, and there, Steven Spielberg's tragic movie was tragically ended. Or at least the World War II variant of it was. And that is why he stuck to Vietnam. And also why they had to use Tom Hanks. They initially had someone else planned, but as you see, he hit a mine. Panzerschrecks flying, artillery going in against the Krauts.
They're losing territory.
I suspect he was hoping that the Darealslimshady would be maneuvering troops through here, in which case this would be a good spot to fire at. Sadly, they weren't. So in that case, that's a wasted barrage. And there's not even veterans for it. tank depot is up. Ritterkreuzträger going out. Grenadiers finding here, pioneers moving up there. They could salvage the armored car. And the Grenadiers here are getting overwhelmed and they are getting pushed away. More Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers moving in. And there we go, the first Ritterkreuzträger squad is out, equipped with the Sturmgewehr. 44. And the sniper went down! Sniper went down! Finally, Fractional got a sniper. And the medic though is quick to turn him in. And artillery going in. Oh dear. The other one is still alive, the one with the most kills. Rifleman pushing in here, going to be quite the fight. Grenadiers, Volksgrenadiers and Ritterkreuzträger moving in. They could try and hit them from the flank, and there we go. Full retreat. He does realise what's going on, Fractional, and he retreats. Assault rifles firing away. And something that helped inspire the Kalashnikov, that Sturmgewehr, the world's first real assault rifle. Sherman out. Panzer IV though on the way. Panzerkampfwagen 4. And a nice hit, but doesn't quite knock out the Ritterkreuzträger. Armour coming up here against the Grenadiers on the right hand side. Pushing in hard with Volksgrenadiers, Pioneers and everything else he can find. Gaining quite the considerable infantry advantage. Again, no medic station for Fractional to even help with attrition. And yes, moving in to try and flank the pack. Grease gun is firing away. I believe it actually used the same ammunition as the Thompson, but was considerably lighter and of course cheaper to make. Not that cost was a real problem for the American army, but apparently they still wanted something cheaper. But again, also lighter, which was rather the one thing that went against the Thompson submachine gun. It was bloody heavy for a submachine gun. And the pack crew bites it. Sniper fighting away though from the side. More Grenadiers moving in. Panzer IV moving in. No veterancy for it. No veterancy. That would definitely be an advantage. And veterancy free for the Riflemen, giving them a 50% damage increase. That is definitely going to make them a terror to the Grenadiers. Medics pulling in the wounded. Sherman gets off a nice hit on the Panzer IV, but it's already taken considerable damage and will be needed to get away. Howards are firing away. Oh, Rifleman actually lost that one. That's actually rare. Can happen. Looks like he might be trying to hit the bunker, but due to the building it is behind, it will be harder to hit for mount artillery. And instead it actually ends up hitting that huge pile of logs. There we go though. Almost knocking it out. Panzer IV could get sticky bomb, but apparently there are none. Still no doctrine chosen for the real Slim Shady. The unfortunate Greyhound trying to move in and flank, interestingly enough. Doesn't seem to quite work out for it. Rifleman holding up there, going for perhaps a victory point. Victory against the Germans, against the Krauts. The Hun is dug in amongst the ruins. And the Greyhound goes down, surprisingly enough, losing to a Panzer IV and Grenadiers with Panzer VI. Who would have thought that an armoured car was not suited as a tank? I would. More Panzer VI, Knights Cross moving in, staying close to fight the anti-infantry of it apparently. Sherman moves in, gets off a nice hit on the Grenadier, killing one. But another squad is moving in to flank, and there's not sufficient support for the Sherman. Grenadiers seem to be caught up here. Forced away. Low health squad moving in. Has to be careful. Panzer IV also sneaking in. Sneaking up.
With a grateful father led the glorious struggle. Honor and blood.
Engineers down. And there we go. Taking up a nice position behind the sandbags. Nice hit. Of course, should be careful of that sniper with 48 kills. Stolz Station, a hero of the Reich.
Pioneers here. Loaded for bear. Carry on your
Both supply upgrades, that is good for Fractional. Howitzer firing again. He's not really firing very well with that howitzer. I think he needs to work on his artillerymanship. Just suggesting. Generally seems to be firing at sort of areas he expects the opponent to be, but they're never actually there. That's generally not perhaps the most effective method of blasting artillery away. Oh, blimey, nice hit by the Panzer IV. High explosive round, knocks out 3 riflemen in one go, and another 2 go down. And another bloody instant, and another is lost. The Panzer IV is on a roll, just murdering Americans. And there we go, retreating. And grenades going in, veterancy free for the German infantry as well. Only gives them the health bonus, whereas the Americans do gain considerably more all-around bonuses, not just defensive, but also damage-wise. Medic gets cut down in his prime. Another medic moving in. And ended as well. Nothing is sacred for Fractional. And now this German is getting considerably outnumbered. Again, without support, it is an easy target for anti-tank infantry. Lots of grenadiers moving in, and it is gone. Brewed up by a flaming wreck of broken American steel from Detroit. Sniper firing away there. Ostwind flak panzer moving in. Ooh. Running through the artillery. Again, he's firing here in the hopes of catching something. I'm not convinced that's necessarily the best method. We do see the Ostwind flak panzer out. Tank destroyer on the way. Hellcat. Pack trying to sneak away. Panzerix flying and knocking out a building, completely collapsing an already fragile structure. Firing from a nice position with the Panzer IV in support. The Panzer Brigade slowly marches onwards toward victory, having dragged themselves from the edge or the brink of destruction. There we go, though, a Hellcat is out. A tank destroyer, though he should be careful with all those grenadiers. And of course, in this case, I mean, some anti-tank guns might actually also benefit, since poor Mr. Darealslimshady is a bit lacking in artillery. So a few anti-tank guns, I think, into this mix could perhaps benefit, in particular due to the rather great lack of maneuverability, which again would mean that anti-tank guns do possess a greater firepower advantage. We'll shoot the tank destroyer moving in. Oh, comes into line of fire of an anti-tank as well. Though again, it's going to be great threat to the Ostwind, which cannot do nothing. Plus, of course, it's also considerably low on health. Artillery getting called in on the anti-tank gun.
Infantry squad reporting casualties.
Squad down. Engineers by the looks of it. Pack crew gone. Ostwind gone. Medics gone. 52 kills for the sniper. Anti-tank gun wrecked. Koenigsegger calling in to support the Panzer Brigade. Things are beginning to look a bit desperate for Fractional in the 20th Infantry Division. Bit of Koenigsegger holding out the center beneath a flickering light. And they are, in fact, looks to be losing a bit to the riflemen. But there we go. Grenadier support wins today, and the King Tiger rolls in from Corps Reserve. Rifleman fighting here against the Grenadiers, against the snipers, but there's also Panzer IV, which is making this considerably more hazardous. Grenades going off, but I think that's a bit too little too late. And I think that would all have been resources better spent on more armor.
Germans are seizing territory.
King Tiger now definitely adding a solid amount of firepower and strength to the center, going to make any pushes by Fractional considerably more painful. The artillery here is heard going off, perhaps towards the center, perhaps up towards what could be expected to be the position of the King Tiger again. Fractional's artillerymanship needs work. Again, this. Or perhaps he was hoping to hit there. A bit hard to say. But again, I do get the impression he's rather trying to hit where he hopes the opponent is, rather than actually checking to see if the opponent is actually there. In which case, he's basically hoping to get lucky with his artillery, which is perhaps, of all the ways of using artillery, is perhaps not the most effective one. It can do a lot of damage, but overall it's not the most professional approach, I might argue. Though again, I might be wrong, but at least from what I can perceive, it rather seems like the I hope there's someone there approach. Sniper keeps killing. 55 kills. King Tiger providing fire support for Grenadiers in the west. Hellcat moving in. Veterans 1 already. Speed increase. Panzer 4 trying to get away. Riflemen getting off a sticky bomb, and they're Veterans 3. Knights Cross moving in, but they're getting absolutely pummeled. Murdered and hammered by the Veterans 3 and damaged engine. And the right flank is completely exposed to an American push. Fractional sends in the Hellcat. And he's probably going to try and knock it out. The Panzerkampfwagen 4. Very close to death. Very close. And out of control. Robin here though needs to get away.
Enemy unit down.
King Tiger moving in towards the center. And more artillery again. This sort of look. Oh, we might have gotten the sniper somehow. Oh dear. That sniper was quite the figure, but sadly he is now lost. Clearly Slim Shady now seems to think this is personal. Raven rolling up here. Rather battered positions. King Tiger bearing down, but they are still holding out. Surviving against all odds for now. And the Hellcat is in considerable trouble. Might get Panzerfausted. Might not. Veterans E2 forward, increasing penetration. Definitely going to help knocking out tanks, but I mean, if Fractional wants any sort of human chance, he needs a lot of anti-tank power against the King Tiger. And he's going to need some anti-tank guns since there's not enough maneuver room for Hellcats. Grenadiers pushed away. Hellcat moving about. Knights Cross coming under fire. There we go. A bit of rain against the King Tiger. Quickly sneaks in and sneaks out, just doing a bit of damage, but running into two Grenadiers with Panzer X. About the worst sort of surprise you can find, waiting behind the building. Who does not get knocked out, but should perhaps not continue. Careful, Fractional. It's a Hellcat and not a Pershing. It's fast, but it's not very durable.
300 points left.
We're ready to move in. Just give the order.
Definitely starting to look bleak, although he has managed a rather bold cut-off right there, cutting off all the resources right there from the Germans, but the engineers who did the heroic task were down. Grenade against versus Knights Cross, they're just moving in. Hellcat nearby. Veteran C3 rifle getting overpowered. Dual Panzer X, main gun destroyed on the Hellcat. He needs to get away, he needs to escape. Enemy down. Rifleman fighting here. Another Veteran C3. Propaganda wall pushes away the Rifleman. Panzer 4 pushes through the wreckage and forces away the Hellcat. Riflemen definitely need to reconsider their positions and preferably get the devil out of there. That was a bit bloody close. No veterans still though for Darealslimshady and his panzers. He should consider getting it, although I suppose would fit in with the fact that most panzer crews for the Panzer Brigades were highly inexperienced. They did not have a lot of time, but again, the thing about the Panzer Brigades, they were not ever meant for the Western Front, yet they still have out there quite a bit. They were meant more specifically for fighting the Russians, who required some more special methods, in which the Panzer Brigades rather actually did quite well when they fought there. On the Western Front, they did considerably less well. In fact, in some cases, they did downright terrible. Simply because, again, they were so specialized towards fighting the Soviets that, again, when faced against Americans who were better equipped in terms of some communications and a bit more prepared for swift counterattacks, they fared awfully. Which also rather highlights the difference in fighting on the Western Front and Eastern Front. They were quite two different things, how the Soviets approach the fight and how the Americans approach the fight, or the British for that matter.
Grabbing territory from us.
King Tiger pulling back slightly down, trying to make up a push here on the left flank, and it is getting to get overwhelmed. Otherwise holding up here behind, some cover actually laid down by the Darealslimshady, which is actually a nice move. Orders of return fire are shouted from the GIs as Panzerjets are flying against their own positions. King Tiger's likely pulling back. Americans making propaganda war save the day on the right western flank.
Look alive!
Panzer IV holding up there with some grenadier support of different kinds. Still no veterancy for the Panzers. And Rifleman, getting out in the open. Panzer IV misses. What a shame, what a shame. And let's return to the Darealslimshady. And do I ever feel a bit tired? Oh, Knights, of course, get the jump on the Rifleman, causing considerable harm. Rifleman here holding out, but again, a bit outnumbered. Pulling up behind, and actually quite extravagantly nice looking car, which the Germans proceed to wreck. Grenade. Ooh, catching the Knight's cross down to half health, but at the same time the anti-tanker more veterans if you rather not push in quickly. That could actually prove to be yes, indeed a retreat worthy moment, or could have resulted in the demise. And Firestorm going in, I suspect, yes indeed, and the Hellcat moves through it, taking damage. Hellcat needs to get out of the anti-tank, and oh dear, this is not looking good. This is an engagement that could otherwise have looked nice for Fractional, but the Firestorm turned it into a mess. Forced him to quickly move forward his anti-tank and pushing it into the Germans. And the Hellcat goes down. I mean, this was pretty much a highly supported push, which quickly went awful just due to artillery and again moving through narrow streets. A nice ambush or counter-attack. I'm not entirely sure how to describe that, but definitely caused Fractional off guard and caused him considerable harm. Lots of riflemen wasted. Hellcat, anti-tank, and gone. And now we are seeing Grenadiers moving in. They're going to call in the V1 rocket. And I'm pretty sure I can guess the target. It's not going to be the kebab bar or the hot dog stand. King Tiger moves out again, another Hellcat, but there we go. Howards are gone, anti-tank gun gone, barracks looking less like a safe place to be. And Fractional is definitely in a kind of trouble. Very low on squads. Very low on a lot of things, actually.
We are losing
And a considerable amount of infantry now for the Darealslimshady again. All thanks to the Munich bunker. Panzer went down. Small victory for Fractional there. Very small, considering the overall picture. And again, I think a medic station could have benefited Fractional considerably in the longer run. Instead, there's been no such thing, and the war of attrition has turned against Fractional now. He is getting crushed beneath his own losses. Bled white. And of course, at this stage, one thing he could also have gone for, perhaps instead of a tank, there might have been a weapon support and get some snipers to deal with all the veteran grenadiers. That tends to be a good method, although against Germans also tend to help. And again, the King Tiger makes that a lot less of a fascinating prospective tactic. But definitely outstretched, outnumbered. Knights cross fighting from a crater, and grenade pushes them out. A few false guys moving in, but they are quickly going to sort out. 23 kills though. fighting everywhere. A desperate attempts of the 20th Infantry Division to push back. The Krauts are getting vanquished as losses continue to mount. And another Panzerfuhr for the Darealslimshady, but still not a single shred of veterancy. I'm a bit disappointed in that. And they've got 2 veterancy free rifleman squads. Pretty much the best that Fractional can muster. Trying to sticky bomb the King Tiger. All running the Grenadiers, pushing those away. And quite a bit of munitions for the Darealslimshady. In fact, you could easily consider upgrading some of his Grenadiers with MGs to sort of have a chance against charging riflemen. Grenade goes off! 1 rifleman bites the dust in a puff of smoke. 2 apparently do. And 1 squad remains, but we are seeing a nice German counter push going in. The others actually moved away a bit, but they are also in considerable trouble. Sticky bomb on the Panzerfuhr. Rifleman getting pushed away. Damaged engine and a bit of damage right there. Still no veterancy. Another Panzerfuhr actually on the way for the Darealslimshady and the 111th Panzer Brigade. Points being secured. 2nd Panzerfuhr rolls out. Let's just see what's going on here. Another grenade against the Grenadiers. 1 down, and let us slightly speed this up, mostly because I'm a bit tired. Largely because things are getting a bit less energetic. Another Hellcat out. Definitely going to be in a lot of problem now. Again, the problem is he should have been focusing also more on the infantry, I think, with Shermans, and instead of just getting Hellcats, he should have focused on upgunning the Shermans. Instead, the Hellcats are running into a bit of trouble. Grenadiers moving in with Panzer again. Hellcats are not really suited towards them, and there we go. Hellcat down. Had a very brief life. A very brief existence. And of course also a big thanks to all of my new subscribers. You know, you've actually been pretty close to reaching, I think, 3,100 subscribers. So let's see if we can't hit that before the new year. And so also actually one of my fans apparently reached level 16 thanks to watching my cast. So of course, I mean, if you want endorsement, I suppose that's it. You know, watch the Propagandacast and you might actually have a good chance of reaching level 16. There's definitely something there. Oh, engineer squad went down. How horrific. And again, the veterans of riflemen all pushed together to sort of combine into the greatest push. But again, the old risk of propaganda war or something else pretty much locking them down. Looks like the Germans are lining up for a direct assault. Veterans are finally on the way for the Panzers. Another veterans free rifleman squad. Or was it the same that actually sort of split off? And there we go, the veterans and veterans 2 on the way. Flotsguns coming under fire, going in for the cut-off and the resources there. Again, attempts at a victory point fight. Riflemen getting surrounded, outnumbered, blasted, murdered, finished. No, he actually has 3 veterans, 3 rifleman squads. That's quite impressive. Now we're actually getting more anti-tank guns. King Tiger getting a bit bold here. Going to get covered in sticky bombs from veterans 3 riflemen. Damaged engine. Barracks under fire from Grenadiers. Little Kreuzträger moving in. Grenadiers, Grenadiers, a lot moving in against these riflemen. Riflemen getting bogged down in the moon craterous landscape. And are getting pushed off. Oh damn, hiccups. And a firestorm finishes off everything at the front part of the base. Let's return to Fractional, who is doing considerably less well, despite having three veterans who arrived in squads. But again, overall, he has not fared too well in the mid to late game. Machine gun replacement stopping the Germans from advancing too far, but the triage center looks to be next. The anti-tank and actually providing covering, showing some of the grenades actually not suppressed right away. And again, anti-tank actually do provide cover for infantry. Fun fact. And another V1. Darealslimshady complaining about bad timing, otherwise he might have been close, but then again, veterans free will mean some of them might actually survived. Got Panzer Force veterans here too. And he is fighting against the weapon over here. Getting grenaded in return. Anti-tank and desperately recruited by Fractional in a desperate attempt to stop the Panzers. And a few hits could actually just sort out the crew rather swiftly. In fact, even the anti-tank in itself, as it is, in a pretty bad condition. But this pretty much looks like GG, so let's just speed it up because I'm a bit tired, and again I do apologise for that. Veterans is free. I mean, there's no chance in hell that Fractional is going to mount a heroic and glorious comeback after this. And GG. Nice sportsmanship there, and of course, I mean, the problems for Fractional were a bit, you know, complex, well, fractionalized, I suppose you could call it. I mean, one of them was basically his method of artillery. Again, from what I could perceive, and again, I might be very wrong, and of course he's free to correct me, he was rather firing at what he was hoping the opponent would be, rather than sorting out where would he actually be, and then firing artillery at that. That meant his artillery, which overall was considerably less effective and was considerably more of a waste of resources. Secondly, he kept throwing in tank destroyers, though again the main threat was infantry. He should have considered Shermans and upgunning those to deal with the could also deal with the Panzer Force much more effectively. King Type, of course, would be a bit of a problem, but throwing in Hellcats is not going to sort that out either, in particular not the sort of minimum bases he had. So again, Shermans, better support, of course, and that was another problem. His Shermans were rather much on their own, making them considerably easier targets. So again, some slightly unfortunate armor tactics besides artillery usage. Medic station would have been beneficial. More mines and perhaps some barbed wire, I think, would also have benefited Fractional in the longer run. Instead, he rather allowed Slimshady to come back and then make a very successful one by doing a lot of damage, because again, Fractional was spreading himself out a bit too thin and making himself a bit too much of an easy target. Of course, the Darealslimshady's beginning was also, you know, the best one with the sniper, and particularly the sniper after 2 false gunners, rather limiting the amount of, you know, you could sort of hold on to initially. Though again, I think Fractional should have mined more as well there. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own or provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.